Taryl here, and today we're going to talk about how new old stock parts can kill you. But before we start the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Taryl Fixes All. Go to our web store and buy some of our merchandise. Gotta support the channel, keep the channel going. So, what I mean by new old stock parts that can kill you, I'm going to show you right here. Got these new old stock brakes and scrap 'em parts. And inside, there's a little love note. And this is an evil love note. It's not a love note. Danger! Gaskets contain asbestos fibers. Avoid creating dust. Cancer and lung disease hazard. Now what kind of nonsense is that? They know this has got asbestos in it, but yet their solution back in the day is to just put one of these notes in here. Here's another part, same thing, got the same warning in it. So these parts got asbestos in it. Now these Tacumish parts, there is no little danger love note in there. But I could tell by looking at this that this is asbestos. And see, it's got some fibers on there that could be flaking off. I could tell that this gasket, this new old stock Tacumish part, this is supposed to be adhesive on that side so it'll stick. I could tell this also is asbestos. See, look at that. Little hairs on there. I can tell that this part's got asbestos on it too. So you got to be careful if you're involved in this hobby of restoring old equipment. You got to take care, because a lot of those gaskets back in the day have asbestos in it. And if you got young grass rats that are interested in the hobby, you know, your son or daughter or grandson or daughter that, oh, Grandpa, I want to help you restore that stuff. Okay, here, take this angle sander with this wire brush and clean those old gaskets off. No, you don't want to do that, because this is going to fling all those fibers in the air, and a little grass rat's going to be breathing that. So you have to be careful with this antique stuff, because they put that asbestos in everything, and you don't want to create fibers in the air. Now what I don't understand is they know that this was toxic. So as a company, why didn't they reach out to their dealers and say, hey, we know all these different gaskets we made got asbestos in it, so we're making new ones out of gasket paper that don't have asbestos. So if you have any of these parts in your stock, we'll take them back. And then we'll give you a credit, and then you can order the new version of it. Because look at this gasket here. This doesn't appear that it would have asbestos. I wouldn't think that this would have asbestos in it. But the little danger note says it does. And that was in this box. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful with this, especially with your loved ones that are involved in this hobby with you, that want to help Grandpa or help Dad. Hey, let's work on that. Use a gasket scraper to scrape this off and wet it down. Don't be using one of these to buff it off of there. Put all that stuff in the air, and you'd be blowing it with an air blower and blowing all them fibers in the air, and then you're breathing this stuff. I'm going to probably throw these in the garbage. I'll throw all this stuff in the garbage. I don't want that stuff around. And if I do come across some of that stuff, which I've done in some of my other videos, I've even said, hey, this has probably got asbestos in it. this head gasket or this other part, so I'm going to be careful scraping it off. And I try not to use these on any of that antique equipment. But just think about all the years working in the shop back in the day, taking these gaskets off that way. Wonder how many people have contracted mesothelioma, because that's what you get from the asbestos from working in a mower shop or automotive industry and breathing that stuff. Also, another hazard with working with these old antique tractors and stuff, lead paint. That's right. You're restoring that old tractor and you're sanding that paint, chances are it's got lead in it, because they used to put lead in all that paint up until around 1978, 1979. And I think the reason they used that lead is to kind of thin the paint, I think is the idea behind it. But how do you know if you got lead paint on your old tractor? So you'd have to go to the hardware store. They got those lead testing kits you could buy. Got a little, like, looks like a crayon you can rub on there. It's got some kind of chemical in it. It'll change a different color if it detects lead. You can try it in a few different spots. But there's a good chance that this old equipment has got lead in the paint. So again, you got your loved ones around. You're like, here, Johnny, sand this little part for me. Yeah, he's sanding that part, making dust and breathing that, and you're not aware, thinking that, oh, maybe that paint's got lead in it. So that's something else you got to be aware of. You got to wear a mask and stuff. They also have a machine, a handheld gun that tests for lead, but it's like $15,000. You're not going to buy that. So, or you can take a paint chip and send it off to a lab and have it tested. That could be expensive. So you just need to take precautions. If you're sanding on these old parts, you need to wear a mask or a respirator and not be kicking up a bunch of dust and all that stuff. Because again, this older stuff, this antique stuff, is hazardous and dangerous. You got lead, you got asbestos, who knows what other chemicals and stuff are in there. So, subscribe to the YouTube channel again. Go to our web store, check out the stuff we got for sale. We got all kinds of stuff, shirts and hats and coffee mugs and all kinds of stuff. Follow me with your toxic antique tractors on Facebook and Instagram. Don't be, watch out, don't be touching me with that lead or that asbestos part. And as always, there's your danger dinner. Asbestos and lead paint. Beware when working on all this antique stuff and using these old parts, because they're toxic and hazardous, and it could kill you. It'll take a long time, but it could kill you. It may take months or years, but it could.